China's engagement in Africa over the past 2 decades has been characterized by expansive infrastructure projects spanning nearly every African nation. These initiatives include substantial investments in critical infrastructure such as roads, railways, ports, and more. By 2020, China had committed over $140 billion in loans for various projects across Africa, with 49 countries signing agreements under the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, highlighting the extensive reach of these efforts. Trade between China and Africa has surged dramatically, growing from $11 billion in the year 2000 to $257 billion recently. This transformation has elevated China to become the primary trading partner for many African nations, surpassing traditional partners like the United Kingdom and the United States. Chinese foreign direct investment, FDI, in Africa also rose significantly, reaching a peak of $5 billion in 2021 after starting at $75 million in 2003. Critics from Western nations have coined the term debt trap diplomacy to describe China's strategy in Africa. They argue that China extends loans for infrastructure projects that recipient countries struggle to repay, potentially allowing China to gain strategic control over these nations. Examples often cited include Zambia and Uganda, where significant portions of their external debt are owed to China. Supporters, however, emphasize that China's investments have brought substantial infrastructure improvements and economic benefits to Africa. Projects funded by China have created jobs, enhanced business opportunities, and improved connectivity across the continent. For instance, Chinese telecommunications giant Huawei has expanded digital connectivity in 40 African countries. Additionally, Chinese-built railways like the Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway in Kenya have been crucial for local economies. While historically the West and their allies focused on providing aid and social services in Africa, emphasizing humanitarian assistance, healthcare, education, and poverty alleviation. However, this help often came with conditions related to governance, transparency, and human rights, which sometimes slowed down fund disbursement. In contrast, China's investments primarily focused on infrastructure development, offering loans with fewer political conditions, making them more appealing to African leaders cautious of Western conditionalities. Many African leaders have expressed a preference for China's approach, viewing infrastructure development as essential for economic growth and development. This preference aligns with their aspirations for economic collaboration and infrastructure-driven growth over aid dependency. African leaders appreciate being treated as trade partners rather than aid recipients, which underlines their strategic alignment with China's economic initiatives. China's infrastructure projects in Africa have had significant impacts on various countries. Kenya, the Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway, completed in 2017 with a cost of $3.8 billion, has dramatically reduced travel time between the two cities, boosting economic activities and contributing to Kenya's GDP growth. Ethiopia, the Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railway, completed in 2016 at a cost of $4 billion, has enhanced trade logistics by connecting Ethiopia's capital to the port of Djibouti, significantly reducing transportation time and costs. Nigeria, the Abuja-Kaduna Railway, completed in 2016 with an $876 million investment, has improved regional connectivity and stimulated economic activities between Abuja and Kaduna. Historically, Western engagement with Africa during the post-colonial era initially emphasized funding critical infrastructure projects through institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. However, by the 1960s and 1970s, Western investment shifted towards aid and social services, leading to neglect of infrastructure maintenance and development. China has been helping Africa since the 1960s by supporting ideas that encourage African countries to stay independent and work together. This approach led up to projects like the Tanzania-Zambia Railway, TAZARA, a symbol of China's commitment to African development free from colonial influence. It's important to note that China was not the only country supporting African independence and cooperation. Other countries, including the Soviet Union, also provided support to African nations during the decolonization period. China's recent surge in African investments leverages its expertise in delivering large-scale projects quickly and affordably, aligning with Africa's developmental needs. China-Africa trade has skyrocketed, underscoring China's dominance as a trade partner. Chinese loans and investments have predominantly flowed into sectors like mining, construction, and manufacturing, with significant implications for regional economies. Despite these benefits, concerns persist about the sustainability of Chinese loans in Africa, especially in countries like Angola, Ethiopia, and Zambia, which are among the largest borrowers. Critics warn of long-term economic risks and the potential for Chinese loans to undermine African sovereignty and financial stability. In response to China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, Western nations have launched their own infrastructure initiatives. The European Union's Global Gateway and the United States Build Back Better World, B3W, aim to offer alternatives emphasizing democratic values, transparency, and sustainable practices. These initiatives blend soft and hard infrastructure investments, focusing on digital technology, climate projects, and social infrastructure. African perspectives on Western initiatives vary, reflecting historical contexts and contemporary geopolitical dynamics. Many Africans approach Western initiatives with caution, drawing parallels to past colonial practices and questioning whether these initiatives prioritize local needs or Western interests. China's infrastructure investments in Africa have sparked intense debate. While supporters of China expansion highlight economic benefits and infrastructure improvements, critics raise concerns about debt sustainability and transparency. The evolving relationship between China, Africa, and Western nations continues to shape the future of infrastructure development and economic cooperation in the region. What do you think of China investing in Africa? Do you think it could be a debt trap, or do you think it can help Africa out? We would love to hear your thoughts, so please leave in the comment below. Thank you for making it this far. If you like this video, please share it with a friend that you think will like this content. Thank you, and as always, stay blessed.